Well, markets haven't reacted too heavily to any ratings downgrade by any sovereign.
Janu Chan, welcome back to Dukascopy TV. Always a pleasure to receive you.
Thanks for having me again, Natalie.
No problem at all. Now, firstly, Janu, I wanted to ask, we had a ream of macroeconomic data last week. What was your pick, though, as being the key indicator, perhaps?
Well, I think the biggest event last week locally would have been the RBA decision. It left rates on hold, which was widely expected, but of course it's what they said which is most important now. They didn't give too much of a hint that they were going to lower rates again imminently, but they did leave that door open. So that did leave that option open later next month, and there is a good possibility that they could cut rates again then.
So, as mentioned, the RBA is now tipped to move for that August cut with another cut to record low interest rates already. Does that about line up then with what St George are expecting?
Yes, we are expecting the RBA will cut rates again in August, and that's largely based on the fact that inflation data is released later this month, and we're expecting that to be quite low and low enough to convince the RBA to cut rates again.
We also saw the Aussie dollar plummet on the S&P's move to a negative outlook for the Australian economy. That said, though, it recovered relatively quickly, as did the majority of financial markets, domestically speaking. Why did this turn into such a non-event almost?
Yeah, they didn't really pay too much attention to it, did they? I think firstly it's because, markets haven't reacted too heavily to any ratings downgrade by any sovereign over the past few years. I mean, we've had the US has been downgraded, and interest rates are much lower than what they were. The credit rating of Japan, for instance, that's also quite low. I mean, they have a lot of fiscal concerns, but their interest rates are in negative territory. So I think the fact that, markets aren't paying attention to that in terms of interest rates, that's one reason. Perhaps if it's also the fact that it was a decision that was widely expected maybe by markets. It wasn't too much of a surprise. Everyone has been warning that the government's fiscal position needs some addressing at some point, and it is at risk of being downgraded. At the same time, this isn't a downgrade as such. The actual credit rating hasn't been downgraded. It's more of a warning shot to the Australian government. Hey, it's a good possibility in the next few years or so.
So with the Australian dollar in mind then, what's the latest sort of price action forecast coming from the team?
We've got a forecast of 74 US cents for the end of the year. We've had that forecast for some time now, and I think what we will see over the remainder of this year is that we'll see the Australian dollar stick to this mid-US 70 cent range. And that's largely because of where we expect commodity prices to track. We expect them to track sideways. The global environment isn't pointing to much stronger commodity prices, but we're not expecting them to fall too significantly either. We don't think that will return to their lows that they hit in January.
Janu, always a pleasure to receive your insights. Many thanks for speaking with Dukascopy TV today.
No problem. Thanks again, Natalie.
Janu Chan there, speaking to me live from the St George Bank offices right here in the heart of Sydney. That's all we've got time for right now. I'll be back with plenty more exclusive interviews for you. For now though, it is goodbye.